increasingly, folks are recognizing that, wait a minute, democracy isn't owned by an institution, an organization, a set of coalitions. It really is all of us and the things that we're doing and how we're participating in the shaping of our own futures. Lifting up this wholeness that identifies democracy as being all of us. And so as I'm listening to you all talk about what sustains, right, what's gonna stick around, after these moments of movements, after these moments of backlash, the institution of government is a central figure and institution in our communities that's going to be around.
The narrative about winning looks like I was outside government, we fought and we won, period, right? And the narratives about winning aren't, I worked with the chief equity officer in the city and we had to learn how all of these things work, and then we filed the thing and then we moved. And so much of trying to get to the outcomes and results that folks want does require an engagement with the public institution that is responsible for driving the resources that impact those results. But that's not sexy, right? Like, that's not what is written in the books. That's not what's recorded on the tapes. And so I have found, and I've had to push that sometimes narratives around what it means to win are incomplete. And it's not to devalue all of the work that happened on the outside, because to what you said, it's necessary. It's necessary to push the conditions to even make something possible. But to believe that was it is actually a failure that sets up the next generation, the next movement, to think that's all that it's going to take to get the next fight. And instead, we're not passing down the learnings of actually to move this. Yes, you got to fight out there, but somebody's got to be ready to meet with the chief equity officer or whoever else in government to try to navigate to make sure that the thing that we are asking for actually comes to fruition and then is locked down into a practice that is going to sustain itself.
And you know what else? I think it's both, right? It's both the folks who do get the chance to be involved in that dirty work, the unsexy work, making that a part of the whole story, making that a part of how we got to the win, but also on the government side, saying, I'm gonna do this, this, this is a local government responsibility. In reality, this is really controlled by our state, making it clear about what levers need to be pulled or had to be pulled in order for the change to happen. Policy gets made in a certain way. Budgets get allocated in a way. There are processes that support how action happens in government, and I think it's important that the community understand those, and I think it's our obligation and our roles to help the community understand, not just to be the sort of conduit or vehicle, but to really, lay it out there.
During the pandemic, we lifted up a community group of about 15, 20 community members to really send our community voice in our COVID race equity response. We met every day, spent probably the first almost 2 weeks just really digging into this department is responsible for this department is responsible for that. We cannot change the city codes because that is a city ordinance thing, and we're really breaking down the role, at least within county government, what our role is and what that looks like. And there was conversations with community members around should the sheriff be an appointed or elected official, right? And so then it had me digging deeper, okay, what does that really look like? Okay, look at the home rule charter, and that got to be changed, and this is the process to change it. But for a community to understand how do you change a elected position to an appointed position, they don't have the information is out there, but not knowing where to go to get the information.
We're in the middle of that space with community, trying to build their capacity, trying to reassure them that, yep, it's going to take a little bit longer than you think it's going to take, while also being on the inside and knowing that that's not always true for everyone, right? There are people who have the ear of your elected and appointed officials
and
who
can
make
things
change
done.
happen a whole lot faster than the classic textbook sort of like path for things to happen. Like we know that that's both true, but also know that that's not necessarily always true for those who want the level of progressive change that really is going to begin to dismantle those systems and create more transformative forms of government.